South Africa is a treaty member of the International Criminal Court. If Putin comes here in August, as planned, your government will be obliged to arrest him. As head of the ANC, do you believe your government should and indeed will arrest Vladimir Putin?
If it was according to the ANC, we will want President Putin to be here even tomorrow.
You would?
To come to our country. But
you would welcome Vladimir Putin here right now?
Of course we will welcome.
A man who is being investigated for war crimes by the International Criminal Court.
We will welcome him to come here as part and parcel of BRICS, but we know that we are constrained by the ICC in terms of doing that. Putin is a head of state. Do you think that a head of state can just be arrested anywhere? How many crimes have your country committed in Iraq? How many crimes have everyone else who's so vocal today committed in Iraq and Afghanistan? Have you arrested them? You have not.
You know the impact that this stand of yours...
You're making a lot of noise about putting in state of working for peace between Ukraine and Russia, and you failed to resolve the war. Where are the weapons of mass destruction? Tony Blair went to Iraq and claimed that there are weapons of mass destruction. Did we see anybody standing against that in the United Kingdom and Britain? More than millions of people have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and there are no weapons of mass destruction. We know what the war is about.
Mr. Secretary General,
between Russia and Ukraine. We want peace. That's what is important.
I know most of you guys know about this freedom fighter in South Africa called Julius Malema. He's the leader of one of the biggest opposition political party in South Africa, and his take on the relationship between Russia and South Africa. So, watch.
Do you think aligning yourself with Vladimir Putin is going to be good for South Africa?
But that's what it is now. South Africa is in alliance with Russia, with India, with Brazil, with China. So why are you asking me as if it's some policy that is going to be implemented after I took over? South Africa is in alliance with Russia now.
South Africa right now calls itself non-aligned.
In the context of the war, but these are two different things. South Africa is an ally of Russia. Now, the second question is, where does South Africa stand on the war? It says I'm a non-aligned in relation to war, but Russia remains South Africa's friend. So we cannot create confusion around there. Don't create an impression that it is Malema who's going to come and create an alliance with Russia.
But there are some very specific...
Actually, I will go beyond that. I will go beyond the friendship with Russia, and in the war, I will align with Russia, and I will even supply the weapons to Russia. Because Russia is in a war with imperialism, and any agenda that seeks to push back imperialist agendas, it's well within the policies of the EFF.
You say, quite clearly, I would arm Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
You know that the International Criminal Court wants Vladimir Putin to face war crimes charges.
It must start with Tony Blair. It must start with George Bush. It must go to Barack Obama.
You know, if there's one thing I have always wondered is that why anytime any leader in Africa brings up the idea of the Bush-Iraq war, nobody is saying anything about it. Why anytime people trying to say that maybe Bush was wrong to have invaded Iraq, maybe Bush should be put on trial for all the things he did in Iraq, no one wants to hear it. But if it comes to other leaders, especially the African leaders, then everyone wants to hear it. Why? I have never understood this notion. We, the Africans, are always the one being dragged out in case anything goes wrong. But when the Western leaders do something and no one is saying anything about it, for example, this whole brawl between America and South Africa, when America is accusing South Africa of handling arms to Russia, It's so funny because you come to realize that South Africa is an independent country and they have the right to support whoever they want to support. They have the right to hand over weapons to whoever they want to hand over. And if you ask yourself, South Africa and Russia, who is the bigger power? Russia. So how can South Africa be handing weapons to Russia? Have you ever let that sink in for a second? How come South Africa, that hasn't got anything, that doesn't even know how to manufacture weapons, that relies on imported weapons, will start handing weapons to Russia? Russia, that is a manufacturer of weapons. This doesn't make any sense. And secondly, isn't the United States and the European member countries handing all sorts of weapons to Ukraine? Aren't they giving financial support to Ukraine? So can countries in Africa do the same? You see the double standard, right? You see the double standard. And you can even see when Julius was trying to bring up the whole idea about Bush and Tony Blair, the journalist that is from the BBC wouldn't even hear him out, wouldn't even follow up on that line. He will just switch to the next one. And that is what they always do. And sometimes I don't understand why we African needs to talk with them, because we already know their agenda. Their agenda is not to portray us as better people or as good people. Their agenda is always to make us look sad and petty. When they come with their questioning, or when they come with their line of questioning, it's always like we Africans are on the wrong side and they, the Europeans, or they, the Americans, are on the right side. It's always like that. And I'm happy that Julius Malema has been a very outspoken Pan-Africanist, someone who hasn't hidden his views or his opinion about the West. He has always made it very, very clear. And even if people did not like it, he hasn't stopped telling them what he has to say. He has made it really open. He has made it very, very clear. He has made his stance known. He was one of those people who openly said that we do not mourn the Queen, because Queen Elizabeth was part of the apartheid regime that took place in South Africa. He said it point blank. He was also the one that said that we do not have any respect for the West because they haven't done anything in Africa that has been to our benefit, to us the Africans. Everything they've done in Africa has always been to their benefit. When they come to Africa, they come to loot, to steal, and to take. They've not done anything that were for our benefit. Nothing. So I am happy that Africans are beginning to realize that the European or the Americans really do not have us in their good heart. Really do not. They only come to us when it serves them best. African leaders have realized that, from Paul Kagame to Yoweri Museveni to Julius Malema to PLO Lumumba to even Nana Akufo-Addo. All these leaders, they have realized that we Africans must learn to stand up for ourselves. We Africans must learn to defend ourselves. I must realize that only us can do things for ourselves. But you guys out there, what is your take on this BBC interview? And do you share the views and opinions of Julius Malema? And also, do you think that it's high time that people start asking Bush some very, very serious and important questions about his whole involvement in Iraq? Let us know in the comment section below, because I always will love hearing what you have to say. And also, Please do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good thing like what you're doing just now help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.